Uh, First and foremost, I wanted to say that I've been watching Doug this afternoon or this evening with my wife, and it's still trash. So,
What?
Wow,
yeah, it's still
wow,
trash.
wow.
Still
Your
is.
face is trash.
I
Well,
never
you
knew
know
you
what?
felt this way.
I thought we went over
Doug?
this when we did the whole cartoon thing. Like,
I
I don't
cannot
recall
like
believe
this
this.
you.
We had like a whole argument about this and everything.
because I feel like I would have asked you to pull it up if that's how
That's
you
what I'm
felt
saying.
about
Run
Doug.
me the foul one. I mean, I know I'm a lady,
Right.
but we can
Well,
excuse it. We won't even have to tell nobody.
if everything goes right, I will be in Auburn soon, so I'll pull up.
Let's do it.
Um, so yeah. So welcome in. Don't call it a podcast. Season 2, episode. I think we're at number 4. Just want before we get into things, just want to let y'all know this episode is brought to you by Just Whipped. Beer butter, body butter, beard shampoos, conditioners, and more. Go to Just Whipped. That's just WHIPPED.bigcartel.com. So it's the Sunday before Infinity War. Well,
Whoop,
Tuesday
whoop.
by the time y'all hear this. It's going down. So this is probably the only movie this year that has been hyped more than Black Panther. Um, and so what we basically want to take this episode to do is turn it over to the Ronnie show. But no, what we really want to do is kind of take the time to talk about the hype of the movie as well as our expectations and predictions. So with me as always is our co-host, the wonderful Ms. D.
Oh, wonderful. That was sweet. Hi, guys.
The wonderful, consistent Ms. D. Um, and also here with us today is the founder and CEO of the kidswearcrowns.com, Mr. Ronnie Harris.
CEO, that sounds nice. If only we could make some money off this. But yeah,
Yeah,
Right?
in due time, in due time.
in
I've
due
been trying to
time.
figure out my title for whenever we get our first check. Um,
And
so
also, one of the writers of the most anticipated movie coming soon,
oh
Antique
yes,
Man.
oh yeah, we
Antique Man.
we really got to get on that because
Relic, yeah.
yeah, Nicholas Cage has said he's got like 5 years left of acting, and
Yeah, we gotta make
yeah,
it happen.
we've really got to make this happen. So, yeah, Antique Man coming in theaters hopefully by 2023. That would be the 5 year deadline.
Okay.
Um, Follow us on the Twitters. You can follow D at McDeedus. You could follow Ron at the KWC blog, and you can follow myself at Eli1906. Right now, my account is locked for various reasons. But anyway, so what we're gonna do, like I said, we're gonna talk about the Infinity War movie that's coming on Thursday night. Is it Thursday night?
Yeah, because I will
27th?
be there
Is
on
that
Thursday night. Yes.
Ronnie will be there? He will be camped out in front of the Tuscaloosa movie theater come Wednesday at noon. He will be there for a full day. So, Ron, take us through this. For those who have been waiting, please explain why there's so much hype behind this movie.
Basically, it's the culmination of 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's immensely popular now, but it, believe it or not, um, they never expected it to get to this point. So the people who were here when we saw Robert Downey Jr. coming fresh out of his recovery as Iron Man, we never thought we would be here. So this movie wraps up 10 years of that cinematic universe. It's been, what, 20 plus movies to get to this point. So yeah, I think that's why everyone has been excited about this one because, it wraps it all up.
For those of you
But
who can't understand Demopolis slang or his words, he
I can't
said
understand
Iron Man.
your accent.
Iron Man. He meant iron.
I
I
cannot
R
say
O
I
N for
cannot I
those
cannot I cannot say iron to save my life. I'm sorry.
Say
for
say
people who don't
iron.
understand.
Say I.
I cannot. No,
No,
trust
no,
me.
you can. No, say
No,
I.
I can't. I'm
Say
telling
I.
you, I can't.
Say it. Do it.
Iron and
Do it.
rural, I can't
No.
say those two
Say
words.
I.
No, I'm
Ron.
trying. I'm
Say
telling
I.
you.
Ron.
No, no,
I. Ron.
no.
It's your name. It's
I
you
know
saying
my
I,
name.
comma Ron. That's all you got to
Iron,
say.
iron. I can't
No,
say it.
say it
See, you
one at a
still can't
time.
say it.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Anyway,
Iron. I can't say it.
I earned.
I earn.
Anyway, just wanted you guys to be, clear on what he was saying. Go
Mhm.
ahead, run.
I said Iron Man. That's what
Yeah, I
I
know
said.
that's what you said. I
Arr.
wanted them to know what you meant.
I mean, I'm country, but like Ron is a whole nother level of country.
Look here, I'm deeply triggered. I will not continue doing this show if this is the treatment I'm going to
Oh,
receive.
quit whining.
because I
Can't
was
be the
going
CEO quitting. That doesn't
be-
work.
because I was going to now go into my personal feelings about the movie,
Go ahead.
Oh, well, go ahead.
but I was interrupted.
Go ahead. Tell us about Iron Man.
Oh God. Okay. I've been trying my best to keep my emotions about this movie at bay because personally I don't want to get too excited because most people they're loving the trajectory of the MCU right now, but personally I haven't been so excited like from Doctor Strange, which was an okay movie,
Mm,
Guardians 2, Thor Ragnarok, which I absolutely hated.
what?
Marvel has yes, I hated Thor Ragnarok. I thought I
Hashtag.
mentioned this.
You hated Ragnarok more than Guardians 2? That's the one I hated.
Guardians 2 was a forgettable movie. Thor
It.
Ragnarok was just kind of like it wasn't good at all.
Oh, you are such a hater
Mm.
and a
Like,
liar.
like Ragnarok doesn't have
I'd flip it
anything.
around.
Thank you.
I'd flip that around.
Mm,
Thank you. Because
Like
Guardians
I could
2
do if I
just.
never see Guardians 2 again.
Thank you. Ever.
But if
I
somebody
have,
put on Thor Ragnarok, I'd be like, okay, I'm fine with
Yeah, I'll
this.
watch this. Yeah.
but as I was saying,
I'm just saying, go ahead with your whack
I
opinion.
think this movie will only be Infinity War in name, but not in execution. So all of these polls saying, "Oh, who is going to die?" Just um, you know, hold your horses because you're expecting some bloody battle. But actually, I have two thoughts on that, and I'll wait for my predictions moment. But anyway, I don't think this movie is going to do what you think it's going to do. So it's good to have high expectations, but I feel like a lot of people are going to be let down because remember, there's still Avengers 4. So this movie isn't going to be what you think it is.
Do you, as a comic book, self proclaimed comic book nerd, right? This is not me making that up.
Kind of, sort. I wouldn't say like I'm as knowledgeable as like maybe AJ or most people, but
So
but
you're
yeah, I
not
do read.
Sheldon, but you read them. Okay.
Yeah, I do read
So
comics. Yes.
with that said though, would you rather the movies stick to the comics, or do you like the fact that they kind of veer away from it?
Okay.
I
See,
guess if it was little or a lot, I can't tell because I don't read the comics. I
okay.
mean, I
Here's the
just don't.
thing. I'm not one to want comics to stay canon and follow the storyline exactly, simply because one, they can't because if that were the case, this movie would have X-Men and Fantastic Four. They can't do that. So what they've done, they've taken the best parts of certain storylines and created a new story exactly. And then they have callbacks to the comics. Like for instance, in Civil War, the scene where Tony is using his blasters and Cap is blocking it with the shield. That's straight out of Civil War. So that's what they're doing, and I don't mind that at all because the stories they're making are still pretty good. So I don't need basically I'm gonna pick on Batman versus Superman again. I don't need to be beaten over the head with just straight out of like comic stories. As long
Say
as
it
you're making a
one
good story, as long as you're making a good story, like I'm cool with that.
I
time. Okay,
Martha.
so
I
you're
mean,
okay
because
with it as long as I'm sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
no, no, you go. No, no, you got it.
But the thing with the comics, they pull their different iterations of the same storyline, right? So
Right,
how
because
would that even work?
there are like event series and they'll get like an author and he will put his spin on like a character or certain stories and basically like there'll be a run of like an author and then that run will just go on like you know an infinite amount of time and then someone else will pick it up. For instance, like Black Panther, while the most popular one is the Christopher Priest run. Like a lot of this Black Panther movie was pulled from the Ta-Nehisi Coates run, which is the more current run, excuse me. So yeah, they're like I said, they're like different iterations of these characters, but there are some storylines that are more popular than others, and we all know those storylines. Like for instance, Civil War was pretty popular, and yeah, things like that. So those references are pulled from those comics and used for these movies.
Well, see, wouldn't you want? I guess my thing is because I've never been a big comic book person. Like my older brother was big into comics, and I tried to read, some of his stuff. But I guess like if you've been a fan of the comics, would you really want the movie to be exactly like the comic was or comic is? Because I mean, then you know the entire plot bit by bit. Like, wouldn't you want some kind of change up or some combination of
Yeah,
stories?
and that's my thing because I will say, having read a lot because I was a huge Marvel fan, having read a lot of those comics and seeing the writing that they have done, and basically from Kevin Feige on down, like the direction he's made with the MCU, like to me, like that's like a very creative storyline. The culmination of the MCU, the way he's taken these stories and mashed them together to make one cohesive story, like that's impressive to me. So I don't need the movie to follow the storyline verbatim, as long as the story you're crafting from these bits of pieces of comics are pretty good within themselves.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about kind of what to expect. So with everything coming Thursday, we're kind of getting this culmination of like hype ever since Black Panther happened, which um it's kind of of course it's important to the story, but it's not bringing up any kind of ends that we didn't think were going to be there, right? So as we kind of move into the expectations for the movie, what are you really expecting um we're going to get? Because I know this isn't going to be the complete Infinity War story. We know that there's going to be more than this film. Um at least that's my idea. So I mean, what are you thinking? What are you expecting?
All right, basically, the working title of Avengers 4, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. It's under the working title of Gauntlet because, Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet. And to me, that should be the title of this movie because this movie isn't the Infinity War. It's going to be the race to get the Infinity Stones. There is going to be a huge fight only because it's not really a spoiler because they released it on Jimmy Fallon earlier, like last week. Shuri is from Black Panther. They're hiding Vision in Wakanda. He's going to have that not the Soul Stone, the Mind Stone, I think. So this is just a race to get the Infinity Stones, and I think this is my prediction. I think Thanos will successfully get the stones minus one because we still trying to find where that soul stone is. So
Say
yeah,
that word one more time.
successfully.
Leave him alone.
I
That is this is
can't
now
help.
this is now uncalled for.
I can't help it. Go ahead. Sorry. As you were.
Oh, I was done.
Oh, okay. D, you have any expectations?
Okay, so my only thing is like a lot of people like running was saying want somebody to die. So we
I
kind of
don't know. Okay,
we kind of
okay, okay.
like at this point we kind of know Visions has to die in some way, right? Which is kind of a cheat because he's an android, right? Any
Okay,
android or
here's the thing. I don't.
something.
I'm not like hungry for somebody to die. I just don't want them to pump fake, which I think they're going to do. Because honestly, if you want my prediction of what's going to happen, all the Avengers minus Iron Man, or go ahead and laugh, go ahead and laugh. All the Avengers minus Tony Stark are going to die.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, no, no. But they're going to be brought back to life in Avengers 4.
They're
And
gonna get
that's
Dave.
Oh.
yeah, and that will piss me off because if you're going to do that, if you're going to have this massive, wipeout of characters, I want you to stick to it.
So all of them. I mean, you talking everybody.
Yeah, because
Wanda
they're
and
Including the Black Panther.
T'Challa. I know everybody
right, and because
except Tony. Of all people, just Tony. Yeah.
right, I think it.
But didn't he have that vision in Civil War?
Yeah, that was his vision. He was like he was walking through and he saw like a pile of the Avengers, and then Captain America grabbed him and he was like, "Why did you let this happen? You got to save us. Why did you let this happen?"
Is Banner in this movie? He gotta be, right?
Yeah, Banner is in this movie. Yeah.
Okay. I just don't remember seeing him. I'm sure he's there, but I try
Okay,
not
and
to watch previews anymore.
in the trailer, if you see the Hulk Buster armor, that's the Hulk in there. So he is in this movie.
Okay. I mean, I try not. I like trailers, I really do, but I sometimes I try not to watch them because I don't want to know anything. A lot of times trailers give away a lot. more than
Hmm.
they anticipate because they show you a part in the trailer, and if you're in the movie and you know that part hasn't happened yet, you're like, oh well, this can't happen because this hasn't happened. Which I notice now that sometimes people sometimes they put stuff in the trailer that's not in the movie, which I guess is kind
Right.
of cool. So I guess you can't really take it for that.
But
But I try not to watch too many of them
I will
because
say
of
this:
it.
I like that this movie is sticking like very close to the chest. Like they aren't having a preview of this movie until the international release, which, to my understanding, is a week after this movie. They're only going to show bits and pieces of the movie, and plus the trailer is pulled from two major parts of the movie. They aren't showing anything in between for real. So
Well, see, didn't they say that not even a majority of the cast members know the plot of the movie, know the real plot of the movie?
right, like nobody really knows how it's going to end because nobody like you've gotten like your little portion of the script or whatever, but nobody has seen the movie in its completion except the people working on it.
And I mean that's pretty smart because you keep leaks from happening for one. Or I mean you can't really keep them from happening, but that's the best possible way to prevent a leak. So I mean I'm with it. I'm cool with that because I think that it shows that they really care about this project and that they're really trying to make sure that people honestly enjoy it. Um, you know what it kind of reminds me of, which I mean it's off topic, so I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
No, wait, what?
No, okay. So this is this is a wild one. This is kind of off kilter, but um, so if any of y'all are familiar, I'm sure y'all familiar with Smash Brothers. The one that came out for the Wii for Brawl, there was an entire story mode that was accompanied with it. And so the story mode in its entirety got leaked on YouTube like a week before the game came out. So in response to it getting leaked, the creator decided not to do a story mode for the next Smash Brothers, which pissed everybody off. But his reasoning was because it got leaked and he wanted everybody to see it in its entirety.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was bullshit. But anyway, so okay, so we went through expectations. Ron, talk to us about your predictions. What's going to happen?
All right. Basically, I'm like 85, 90% sure Doctor Strange is out of here. Either he's dead or he's going to get flipped and used against the Avengers. Only because um, Corvus Claw, I think is his name, one of the Black Order members, is going to manipulate. Oh no, excuse me. Ebony Maw is going to manipulate Doctor Strange and allow him to use his magic against the
Wait,
Avengers.
who?
So
Who is?
Ebony Maw.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cause I know who that is.
So you think Benedict is getting out of here?
Yeah, yeah. All right. So AJ and I have kind of like came up with this theory, and we're starting to see that this theory is like almost confirmed, I guess, but I wouldn't say it's confirmed. But basically,
Spoiler
no
alert.
matter what
Stop
happens,
listening if you don't want to hear it.
yeah, stop listening if you don't want to hear it. Basically, no matter what happens in this movie,
Spoiler.
Ant Man is going to play a huge part in the rest of the cinematic universe because Ant Man's movie takes place directly after Civil War, but before Infinity War, and we know that Ant Man isn't in this movie. Ant Man isn't in this movie because he's possibly still stuck in the quantum realm. If you watch the Ant Man movie, when his mind got detached from his body, when he was changing, yeah, when he was changing sizes or whatever, he went into the quantum realm, and you could get lost there. In the quantum realm, he is going to find Captain Marvel, who is back in the 90s because her movie is set in like the early 1990s. Okay, and Tony is going to find Ant Man and Captain Marvel, and they're going to zip back to 2012 in the New York fight, and they're going to fight Thanos from the beginning.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am intrigued, and I think
Okay.
that is a very interesting premise, but that is a lot.
So you basically think that part two is going to be, in a way, a reboot.
yeah. Part two is going to be basically Ant Man and Tony Stark zipping through time, reviving heroes, and finding other heroes possibly to fight Thanos,
So
all
it's
the
gonna
way
be
from the
like
beginning.
a Days of Future Past reboot.
Hey, I'm
Ki-
throwing this in there. I'm throwing this in there. When they go back, because Disney has bought Fox now, the X-Men get involved.
I wish. Okay. Side note. Do you guys watch Parks and Rec?
No, I
No.
no.
Okay. Well, anyway, Patton Oswald went on a huge like 12-minute ad lib tangent about the MCU universe clashing with Star Wars when Disney bought Star Wars, and it's hilarious. Find that clip when you're done with this because he totally ad libbed it, but it's great. And I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon, but that would be cool. I saw like rumors of like the Silver Surfer or possibly Fantastic Four, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Um,
Well,
also,
if they do the Fantastic Four, they have to. Well, no, because Killmonger's dead, so they really could bring him. He could be Johnny Flame. That would be interesting.
yeah, the Fantastic Four is plausible to me, but not the X Men because the
Now,
Fantastic Four they're a bit older, so them being with affiliated with Shield like back in the early 1990s is plausible to me, but you can't explain how mutants have existed this entire time and we've never seen them. So I don't see that happening.
I
If they do
mean,
a silver, I mean, if they do a Fantastic Four, um, and MCU mesh, and Cap is still alive, and he doesn't look at Johnny sideways, that would be very, very, very unfortunate. Like there has to be some kind of way he just looks at him and kind of be like, huh, and then just kind of let it go, or suit or something. Like he has to. There has to be some kind of something to be like, oh yeah, this used to be me, but now I'm not. Or if they let
all,
Michael B. Jordan do it, T'Challa got to look at him like,
thank
you
you.
look familiar.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that.
That is all I ask. If they do that, then please just like grant us, like, just make us laugh in that sense. Like, acknowledge that we're smart enough to realize this, and
Right.
please just make that interaction happen. It has to happen. Haven't I seen you before? Or, haven't I seen you before? No, we've never met. Just something like that. Like, Anyway, okay. So that concludes pretty much our Infinity War coverage and preview. So I hope you all enjoyed that, really, because nobody knows what's going to happen. And can't wait till Thursday or Friday when it gets inevitably spoiled for me because I'm old and can't just up and go to the movies when I want to. Also child. So
Side note before
what's up?
before we go, since I am seeing it at the first showing, which is 6:30 or 7,
Mm-hmm.
expect a review from me, a spoiler filled review the next morning.
Oh
So
yeah, we're not.
just
Yeah,
throwing that out there.
I
that
don't
won't
think it's gonna
surprise
happen in
anybody.
the morning because you're not gonna write it. You're gonna fall asleep.
I am going to
Make
write it.
sure you put spoiler like as big as possible on it.
I will. No, I'm going to make sure that because that's the thing. I don't want to spoil this for anyone because I'm only throwing out theories, but honestly, I have no clue what's going to happen. And I guess that part still excites me, and I would hate to ruin the experience for anyone else.
Cool.
Shout out to James Cameron being bitter too.
He is mad.
Boy, he is bitter.
He is
Nobody checking for those
mad.
Avatar movies.
Bitter like a
All
beet,
that money he
or a root,
made.
ginger root.
But it's supposed
All
to
that
be
money.
another Avatar, right? Or there was
It's
a
supposed to
rumor
be
that
There's
there
four
supposed
was
to be
more.
5.
4 or 5.
Yep.
Who's gonna sit through 4 or 5 3-hour Blue Man movies?
No idea. No idea. I mean, I
Because the
get why
first
he's
one, I
bitter.
mean, it was cool, but
Right.
how many
But
times
but here,
can
but
you
here's the
make
thing
it?
though. If you don't like superhero movies, don't go see them. It's as simple as that. Why are you complaining about them?
He's complaining because he was supposed to be the guy that directed in
He's
the MCU.
complaining because he's pretty much saying there's not room for both.
But there
Or no
is
one won't say
though.
there's not room for both, but that we can't handle both. Almost, it's like
No, no,
there
he's
can't be
he is no, he is jealous because the rise of the MCU stole the thunder from
right,
Avatar.
right.
Because if I'm not mistaken, Disney made a deal and they were supposed to do the Avatar movies, and these MCU movies are still in that thunder. So nobody's checking for those Avatar movies. So just get over it. Like it'll be fine. You'll live.
Man, go home, count your money, you'll be fine.
Right.
Right. Count your money.
So yeah, before we get out of here, just want to remind you again, this episode is brought to you by Just Whipped. You'll hear the ad after this is over with. I'm not going to repeat it right now. But what I will say is next time we're going to talk about how Kanye and Shania Twain are both canceled. And let's see what else. What else is on the
Well, that
docket for
don't
that?
impress me much.
Yeah, so
Really,
that's that's
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I
I
am. I
caught
really
I
am.
caught that.
I really am sorry. I'm
I didn't
sorry.
quite catch it.
I
What'd you say?
apologize. I
She,
apologize. I do.
she slipped the reference in there. That's
Oh,
I
all.
okay.
apologize.
Okay. I didn't catch it. I'll probably hear it on the
Forgive me. I
playback.
hope nobody else catches it either. It was bad.
I'm so disappointed in you.
I mean, if it
You
was
like
there, you have to go for it,
it was, it was, yeah. In hindsight, I regret it.
Don't regret it. Just go all in.
I mean, leave it in there, but
Okay.
I do
Well,
regret it.
if I'm not hosting next week, it's because Lamar Jackson went to the Saints or the Patriots, and I just decided I was done. So yeah, anything y'all want to plug before we get out of here?
Kidswearcrowns.com.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of posts dropping this week. If it hasn't dropped already, you should see Ron's post setting the world on fire in regards to J. Cole, whose album we're going to talk about next week.
Also, make sure y'all watch for Ron's recaps on Atlanta.
Oh
Live
yes,
tweet with us on
Oh yeah, and
Thursdays.
shout out for the last like 2 or 3 weeks because the responses I've been getting from the recaps have been great. You know, there have been a lot of views, so thank you for those.
absolutely.
Just
Shout
letting
out
you
to
know.
D too for live tweeting.
I do what I can,
You know, pulling her weight around here. Social media assistant guru because Joe
making
is
my
still a
money.
guru. So we got a lot of titles over here, no money. So yeah, so make sure you follow us on Twitter at the KWC blog. Go to the website thekidswearcrowns.com. A lot of content dropping this week. We appreciate y'all subscribing. You can also if you have a product that you would like to promote with us, then please make sure you do so. Just contact us at contact@thekidswearcrowns.com. For D and Ronnie, I'm Ryan. We up out of here. We will see y'all next week.
Peace.
Okay, that's number one. So we'll do this next one. We'll talk about Kanye just completely losing his shit and J. Cole. Which one do y'all want to hit first? You want to do Kanye or you want to do Jermaine?
Do y'all follow Kanye on Twitter?
I
I
muted him
don't.
because I got tired of seeing his
I
fake
blocked
ass
him and muted
philosophy.
him, um and like I said, I just see the tweets from like the blog account, and I saw people praising him and his fake deep tweets last week. But I
Yeah,
want to
that's
see,
why I unfollowed him a long
but
time ago. He's just so
I want to
weird.
see their response to him and his tweets today. Like because if you praise him for the good, then take the bad with it too.
You
This
talking about the
nigga's
one when he rocked with that girl? I can't remember her name.
Candace
Yeah,
Owens.
Candace Owens.
Candace,
Yeah,
yeah.
this nigga is who we've been trying to say he is all along, and I don't know why y'all
Y'all let
trying to
him
throw
off the
some.
hook.
Yeah, trying to throw some genius label on him. Like
If you want to crown him, then crown him.
he's a smart dumb nigga. That's what he is. Just
Shouts out to D for that one. Shouts out to D for pulling in that reference. That's 2D. 2 for 2. I didn't
Do
even
it.
hear the first reference, but that's 2 for 2. All right, let's get started. Let's roll.
all right.
Welcome in. Don't call it a podcast. This is episode number 6 of season 2, something like that. I don't know. We're approaching 50 though. We're approaching 50. This might be 50, but I haven't kept up. So either way, it doesn't matter. So we in here today. As always, it's our wonderful and consistent co-host Ms. D and
Miss D.
little baby Jordan.
I was gonna say enjoying in the background. He
Shouts out to
got
Jordan.
thoughts. He got things to say.
Get them thoughts off. Let them know. Don't let them oppress your thoughts, sir.
That's right.
You can follow D on Twitter at McDeedus. Also joining us is Mr. Ronnie Harris.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, how are you, Ron? Are you doing okay?
I'm doing just great.
Good. You can follow Ron on Twitter at the KWC blog, and you could follow myself at Eagle Eye 1906.
But can you really follow me though?
Yes, you do some live
Okay.
tweets. I mean, sometimes it's mainly.
You should jump. You see what you should do is you should post your recaps, your Atlanta recaps, and then jump on a blog account and then interact with the people post recap.
Yep.
Bam. There you go.
I guess, but I just kind of hate it all now. Maybe I'll start being curmudgeon-y. I just created that word. I'll start being that soon, but maybe I don't know. We'll see.
If we can do it and we have multiple children, you can do it.
Say that word again.
Curmudgeon-y.
Curmudgeon. Okay. All right.
Like curmudgeon,
Curmudgeon, yeah, no. I
Curmudgeon
saw where
and
you were going
then
with it.
knee. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. I
You
really
had
just
an
wanted to hear it
adverb. I'm
again
with
that
it.
time.
That
I won't
would be
make
an
fun of
adverb,
you
right?
that time.
That would be an adverb, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Grammar lessons. All right. So anyway, today's episode, there was a lot going on last week, and we didn't have time to talk about it because Infinity War was happening, and we wanted to catch in on the hype. So what we wanted to talk about this time were let's see, there are two very distinct quotes that I put on my Kanye post last week that I think are very important and summarize this effectively. Number one would be, "You're the die hero, live long enough to see yourself become the villain." And number two would be, "It's funny how proximity kills your heroes." Kanye West, if you missed it last week, went on a ridiculous rant about nothing that people seem to praise because he's Kanye West and they like feeding his ego. But then at the end of it all, one faithful Sunday morning, Kanye decided he was going to endorse Candace Owens. If you don't know who Candace Owens is, don't Google her. It's not worth your time. She's basically a shuck and jiving black woman who white people love because she says that black people need to get over slavery and racism. And she also thinks Donald
Get
Trump, yep,
over slavery.
and racism.
Nice.
She also believes that Donald Trump is here to save America, which I always have the same question when I hear people say that, which is, what is he saving it from? Um,
Niggers.
I mean, and so that's why I'm like, if you're black. Okay, so before we get into this, can I just say, because this is kind of like a mini rant, I have no problem with black people who are Republicans, but I don't see how you, as a black person, can sit up here and be okay with what the party is right now. Like, look at Sheriff Coon in Wisconsin, and look at the orange one in the White House, and look at Stacey Dash, and like, how can you, with just in your right most stable of minds, say, yeah, you know what, I fuck with that? Like, really? Somebody help me.
To me, it kind of feels like, and this is just me, a lot of people do stuff to be seen and to be famous in any way at all, in any way, even if it's bad. So I honestly think that some of these people do it because they know that if I'm a black person and I pretend, or even if I say I rock with this person, it's gonna put me in this light, and people are gonna see me and know my name and know who I am. Because before last week, when Kanye mentioned her, I had no idea who that girl was,
I mean, I've
Candace or
I've
whatever,
seen her
and I
before
still don't
only
know who she
because
is.
yeah. But I think you're giving people too much credit even with
It
that. I
might
think
be.
I think some of these niggas they just hate their black skin so much,
Mm.
and maybe they're one of the few who made it out. They look down on everybody else and they say, well, if I could do it, you could do it. So they must be right when they say black people do nothing but complain and can't, lift themselves up by their bootstraps or whatever. So we're not the problem. You are. So I think they just hate black people so much that that hate is internalized and they actually believe. Like like for you to say some of these things, like you almost have to believe it. Like you constantly have to convince yourself. And I really think they believe the shit they say. Like they believe like, oh, Donald Trump is going to save America. Donald Trump is better for black people than Barack ever was. Like they really believe this shit, and it's a madness almost. Like I don't, I like really for you to believe this shit, you have to drive yourself mad to the point of madness.
Like, it's absolutely wild to me because anybody that knows me, like, okay, I love Barack Obama as a person, but as a president, I was never really the biggest fan of him. However, I find myself like defending parts of Obama's presidency that before I was just like nonchalant about, just because of how rabid these people are. Like, it's like, and you see the term, like, okay, it's kind of irony. It's kind of ironic that the term normalized has been normalized, but like,
Right.
but like, you see people just lie about stuff that can easily be Googled and disputed, and they just lie about it as if it's fact, and people are just like, oh wait, no, 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 we need to hear these people out. Like, we need to listen to what they're trying to say because maybe something is important.
You talking
No,
about Hillary and 9/11? Because he keep harping on the fact that she wasn't there.
I mean, I just like anything they say, like
Bro,
Hillary and 9
bro,
11 or
allow me to interject. The craziest thing I've seen, and this was probably the thing that drove me from Twitter because it was wild and I couldn't believe it. Someone posted a picture of the girl from Parkland, Florida. The I can't think of her name.
Emma Gonzalez.
Yeah, she's a Hispanic one with the shaved head, ripping apart the Constitution.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And then someone said that picture is Photoshop. She isn't ripping apart the Constitution because the caption was, blah blah blah. She looked like she doesn't support our country. She's ripping apart the Constitution. Blah blah blah. And they're like, that isn't the Constitution she's ripping apart. It's it was like an NRA document or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the person responded. She was like, yeah, but I'm trying to prove a point. She knew the photo was fake, was called out on it, and she said, "Yeah, so what? I'm still trying to prove a point." Like what?
My favorite one was my favorite response to
Symbolism,
that.
Ronnie.
My favorite response to that was them taking a photo of Sinead O'Connor, ripping up the picture of the Pope and photoshopping Emma Gonzalez on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be like, oh look, she's now ripping up. She's now talking about the church. But it was somebody responding like as a joke, and the person who initially did the photo of her ripping up the Constitution was like, "Oh my God, I told you she's a monster." Like they didn't
These are
realize.
children.
Bro.
They're children.
That's the best part of it. Like and that's it. That's exactly it. They're kids, and like, okay, if you want to go at them on gun policy, like if you want to actually have a debate with them about gun policy, then have a debate with them about gun policy. That's fine. But you're attacking a child for being a child. Like the whole Laura Inger, what's her face, coming at David Hogg for, oh man, a couple colleges didn't accept him, and he just happened to talk about it on Twitter, and so you make fun of him. Like you're a grown fucking woman.
Yeah, I don't know what their problem is.
He absolutely got her out of here.
He got her.
It was beautiful.
It was amazing.
Beautiful.
And I'm so glad that so I was, for those of y'all that know, I was working part-time with the radio station that I used to work for, a radio company I used to work for when I was in Birmingham. I was working up here in Huntsville, and one of the programs that I did like every Sunday, it was basically the 6 hours worth of church, with like an hour of politics in between. And whenever the politics came on, I muted it down because of course I'm in freaking Alabama. So you can guess what kind of station it was. Well, I walked by a poster one day that's in one of the storage rooms, and it's her freaking face on there. Apparently, she got her start up here. So when I walked by there one day after the whole hog incident, her face was marked out, and I thought it was glorious. But anyway,
great.
So yeah, so Kanye, being an idiot.
Oh, right quick.
Yeah.
Before you get to Kanye, I want to say shout out to the hero who saved the people, or more people than he possibly would have at Waffle House.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember his name. Somebody find his name, please.
I got it somewhere. It's Josh.
I was like, you're supposed to know this. That's your frat brother.
Yeah, he is frat.
But God bless him, because that could have been terrible. And peace, and rest well to the 4 people that he did murder. But good for you, man.
Everybody says that, if I was in that situation, I would do blah blah blah. But he actually did it, and shout out to him. And he says, I'm not a hero. I was he was trying to survive. But I mean, he did what most people wouldn't do. He saw an opportunity. He saw the guy was loading his gun, trying to reload, and he attacked, burned his hand on the barrel. James Shaw Jr., that's his name.
God bless you, James Shaw Jr.
So he don't want to be a hero, but we're gonna make you a hero. James Shaw Jr., shout out to you, you're a hero. So yeah, with Kanye, I mean, I don't know if we want to waste too much time on him. Do y'all have any other thoughts about how far this man has fallen? Like,
I no.
No, not really.
I know it has. Like, he hasn't been right since Mama passed. He just hasn't.
And I get that. I don't like it though. I don't like.
No, I mean, but I think it's been. No, I really think it's been. And I don't think all this is an effect of he's just mentally deranged. But I think that he went through a serious depression because not only did his mom die, but his fiance just basically was like, "Peace out." And I don't think he really understood how to cope with that.
But was that causation or correlation? Like which one came
look at you
first?
with the words, boy. Bars.
I see, and they may not have been related. Like she may have just been like, I couldn't, I've been out on the way out for a long time, and I just can't do it at this point. But my whole thing with Kanye is that I guess it's so crazy.
I know y'all are men, but could you imagine dating Kanye West? Oh gosh, the ego stroking, man.
But it's like the ego slowly. It's like the ego got bigger to balance out
He's
I don't know. I feel like
he's
his ego was always big, but it got bigger after that. Like,
he's got that God complex like Donald, and I don't like it either way. And I meant Glover, by the way, because I don't care. He's got one. They really have this God complex, and it's like, yes, you are great. Yes, you are a musical genius. Yes, you are great at these things. But damn, let me tell you, like you
Yeah,
don't have to
yeah,
tell me every day. I know, like, and it's
yeah.
it's
fine. I
okay.
say you
You're
should
not
big
you're
up
not that
yourself. You
fire.
should, but like, calm down. Like
Like,
you didn't, create anything. You didn't solve world hunger. You didn't give me a formula for cold fusion. Like, relax, please.
yeah, I mean, I
You just
guess
made a
because
dope song.
the minute
Great.
that the minute that Kanye announced a new album, I already wasn't here for it because I knew it was just gonna be him like doing scat sounds over a bunch of different beats and then calling himself a genius. Like, I
You
just
don't
I
understand it.
that was
We
even
were just talking
before
about that, Ronnie.
I like and I can't stand like, oh my god, like just how people keep praising Yeezus and Yeezus was trash.
Yes.
It was
Here's
trash.
looking at you,
Oh,
Teach.
yeah.
It was
Please,
awful.
please, please let me have this moment.
Go
Please let me
ahead.
have the
It's
floor.
all you, Ron.
Um, Listen. I listen to a lot of different, and this is me put my snob hat on for a minute. I listen to
Put
a
it on.
lot of music, a lot of music. I listen to trip hop, acid rap, all of it. So when I heard Jesus, Jesus was an attempt at things I've already heard, and I've heard them done better. Nick, Jesus is the album for niggas who want to be different. And I don't care if that offends you because you know that album is shit. That album is absolute shit.
On site is literal noise.
Now I will
It's
say
just
this: like,
noise.
there are a few good moments on the album. Like, cover your ears, D. I really do like "I Am a God." That's a good song. But others, 90%, 95% of the album is absolute shit because he made it in 1 week. That's not impressive. That's not impressive. And if you can't like reference like LP's earlier work, or like Kettle Blocks, The Cold Vein, or even anything Denny Brown is doing right now, or Death
Bus driver.
Grips, or exactly, if you can't reference any of these things, but you say what Jesus did was the pinnacle of that certain subgenre, then I don't believe you. Like, it's not a good album in any kind of way. Like, there are
And
YouTube videos of people breaking down this album, what it really means. No, Kanye wanted to just get in the studio for a week and wild out. And I do kind of respect that he's of a certain stature to be able to do that, because I think every artist has a Jesus within them. Like, they have an album they want to make to just say fuck it, and he got a chance to do that, but that doesn't make it good. It's a shit album. It's the worst album I've ever heard in my life, and I'm not even exaggerating.
that's saying a lot. I
That
want to
that is saying
say
a lot.
I want to be alive for the day that somebody does something just weird, abstract, off the wall that makes no sense whatsoever. And for people to come in and say it's genius, it's beautiful, it means this, it means that, and it has all these things, and then for the artist to just be like, nope, I literally just put some stuff together just to see what y'all were gonna say.
To a lesser degree, damn, what's that the dude OG Mako?
Yeah,
To a
yeah,
lesser
yeah.
to a
When
Oh,
lesser
did you
degree, he
guess it?
did that.
Yeah, he
the
did.
bitch you
He
guessed
released
it.
it.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
he
song was
he
just
released.
funny to me.
Yeah, he released that song, and people's like, "Oh, this shit hype," and he was like, "Oh, y'all niggas stupid. I released that just to see if people would like some bullshit." He was like, "I intentionally made a bad song just to see if people would like it."
I mean,
And
was he
to
even saying words in
No,
the
like in the second verse,
verse?
he just starts mumbling. All
Yeah.
right.
Now, it was funny to me though. Like, I'm not. It wasn't one of those songs where I was like, "Oh my god, you got to hear this." Actually, it was because it was like, "Oh my god, you got to hear this. It's terrible.
Like
Like,
even
it's so bad you have to hear it." One of them type of things.
like I don't know. I would rather listen to a whole Chip Skylark album before I listen to Yeezus again. Um, I would listen to an album by them two dudes you did that post about, Ron.
what?
Before I listen to Yeezus again, because that song
Wait, what?
actually kind
Oh,
of
oh,
goes.
yeah, that song kind of goes,
The
man.
song kind of goes, man, and like every single bit
Hey
of those dance
guys,
moves are amazing.
hey, stop it,
Do you believe in my dreams like Gorilla Pit?
please, please, y'all. If you haven't, y'all, please go check the post. What did you name it, Ronnie?
This is I
The best
discovered
video or something like
the
that. The best
greatest music
video.
video of the 21st century, and it really
Y'all,
is. That
It's
dude
a
be
gift.
dancing
please.
It's
his
a gift
ass
of a.
off.
It's a gift of a nigga doing a robot.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
big
all
up
you
I
need to
big
do.
up the
It's really all you need.
kidswearcrowns.com all the time because these are me and my peoples. But please, if you do nothing else, at least just find that post and watch that video.
It is amazing. I
It's
just can't get over the
ridiculous.
dude with the bicycle shirt. He's the
It's
best part of the
ridiculous.
entire video. But anyway, we got sidetracked. My fault.
But
So I think.
Kanye, yeah, back to
Oh, go
Kanye.
ahead. Go
He is talented. He is is he one of those people that like wants to be tortured like that type of thing? One of the people that when he goes on to glory in 60 years, people say he was a tortured soul and
You
he
know what I
released
you
it
know
through
what I
his
think it
music.
is. You know what I think it is. I think the best comparison I could come up with is he's the Ben Carson of music.
Oh
He's
Lord.
great. He's
Christ.
great. He's a great musician, and he thinks because he's a savant in one area of his life that that genius spills over into every other area of his life.
That is a
Um,
very, very good, I think, a very good explanation because you can I don't think people understand what savant means.
Yeah.
right.
And I
Yeah.
think that may be what he is. Seriously.
Because fashion ain't it.
It ain't
No,
it.
it's not it.
Fashion shit ain't it.
It's not it.
Just
It
his
ain't Ralph.
intellect. Yeah, it ain't Ralph though. His intellect. He thinks he's a lot smarter than what he actually is.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And so because he mumbles incoherent shit and people don't understand it, he's like, "Oh, I'm such a tortured artist. I'm a tortured
And
soul. People
throws
don't
dang
get
on
me."
temper tantrums
Yeah,
when
we
he
don't
doesn't
get
get
you
what he
because
wants.
you're a fucking idiot. That's why. Like Kanye is a total fucking idiot, and it pains me to admit that because I used to be the biggest Kanye West fan
Excuse
ever.
me. He is a genius and he is your OG and you will respect him as such.
Um.
Now
I
what
am
you
your
won't
OG.
do is
No.
disrespect your OG.
No. My favorite thing of the day though is somebody saying that Kanye West is Sheriff Clark with Pro Tools.
Oh no. He's doing a lot. Like he
He's
I,
really is.
a
And a
lot.
lot
No,
of
he's doing the
people let
most.
him a lot of people were okay with him and let him slide when he did all that stuff with Trump. And I'm like, y'all gotta stop this, man. That's
no, I
not
don't
like
care.
you
I don't
it's
care
like
how much
if
his
you're
music.
evil,
I'm
you're
sorry.
evil.
Okay.
If you don't
Yeah.
stand for what I stand for, you don't. And I can't rock with you if you rock with somebody that's like that.
Okay,
Period.
You
I'm
basically
gonna
said
take it
what
a
I
step
just said.
further.
Yes.
I'm gonna take it a step further because I know people don't want to hear this, and I just did an entire post trashing her. But really, the moment he did the Taylor Swift line in "Famous," I was like, yeah, he
Oh
just wants
yeah.
attention.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
just
yeah.
wants attention. Like no
Yeah.
matter what she said about it being okay or whatever, and then flipping on it, like totally flipped and all falls down. No matter what she said about that, it still is kind of it's too far, and it's just you wanting attention, and so
I don't even get it. I never even understood the line about them having sex. Why would you even say like
like it's a non
I
sequitur in
don't
the
get it.
beginning of a fucking song. Like, how do you
Like
have a non sequitur in the beginning of your song?
like it seems like he wants the fast track to being a provocative artist. Like Prince didn't do shit just for the sake of doing it. He did it because he's like just like fuck it. Like I think
Yeah.
Kanye wanted that same like he wants that same stature, but you can't you can't like fabricate that.
Yes, I
Like
say,
you
have you
can't.
seen the things that people have said about Prince though?
Well, yeah,
The musician.
yeah.
Like I read a piece about this guy that worked with Prince, and he said, he hired him. He said he had him doing these things. He was like he played so many instruments and did so many things. He said he never heard him make a mistake. That's
That's
huge.
wild.
Like this is
Right.
like he's like, and I mean I'm around this man while we're like in the studio grooving, we're just playing around. This isn't even something he's prepared. He's like, I've never heard him make a mistake. That is huge.
Like I can't
Now
even
that is
wrap
a
my mind
musician. That's
around that. Like
crazy.
that's a yeah, exactly. That's a genius. That's a legend. And I think he wanted the fast track to that without maybe even having the acumen to do it or the patience or whatever. But he's like I really used to think, okay, once I heard late registration, I was like, you know what, Kanye West is the genius of our generation. He's going to be the rap Elton John, this and that. But now, like as his career has progressed, I don't feel any of that anymore. Kanye West's music, half of his catalog is forgettable now, and I know like the pitchforks are coming at me for saying
Oh,
that,
they
but
coming.
But no,
They coming.
seriously, like half of his music is forgettable. It's made for the moment. It expires quickly. Like he's not this genius that we thought he once was.
Who's still playing Life of Pablo?
Life of
Nobody.
Pablo sounds like
I got
Life of
bras in the
Pablo
little.
sounds like the week it came out. It sounds
Exactly.
like that because it was made within that week. That's what
I
it
got
Right.
sounds
bras
like.
in the skimmles.
And so, like, I mean, honestly, if
Eating
you
the
if
leaks
you
in the
if you
bundle.
look at like the first 5 albums of his career, College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, 808s and Heartbreaks, and Dark Fantasy, 5 really solid albums.
Hmm.
Um, would you put any of them in the top hip hop albums of all time? I'd say you could put one or two of them up there, but it's not like he had 5 in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like he had 5 of the greatest albums in rap history in a row. He had 5 really good albums. And
Hmm.
if he would have kept doing that throughout his career, then he would have gotten the accolades that he wanted. But there was that shift around Yeezus where he was like, basically that Lil
Well,
Uzi. Now I do what I
see,
want.
see,
Yeah, I was
the
gonna say
time,
that.
the time came when he stopped letting the music speak for itself, and he tried to speak for the music. Like he
Hmm.
tried to tell you, the shit I'm making is dope instead of like the shit he was making actually being dope. Because those first 5 albums, like they progressively pushed the envelope a bit. Like I know people hate 808s, but I still think
808s
that was a
changed the whole game.
right. I still think that was an incredibly inventive album.
It was.
Graduation was a fresh take on the modern pop album. Um, Love It or Hate It, Dark Fantasy was a very artsy album and like it has its merits. After that, he just was doing shit just for the sake of doing it. And
It's like he was pushing it, which you should be able to do. And by the way, we're not saying Kanye can't do what he wants to. You can. I mean, that don't mean I have to like it. That's the
yeah,
whole
it don't make
point.
it fire. Yeah,
So yeah, you push and you push and you push, and I think that's what he was doing. Because like you said, 808s was different, and I was nervous for him because I was like, "Ooh, this is bad." But I listened to it. I'm like, "Okay, this is good. Okay."
Because what he did was what T Pain was already doing, which we'll have to have a whole nother episode about how T Pain is responsible for rap now, whether you like it or not. But he took what T Pain was doing and made it artsy.
yeah. He
And
used auto tune almost as an instrument. Like
exactly.
when you put a mute on a trumpet, and it changes the inflection and the tone. That's what he was almost doing with auto tune. He wasn't just simply singing in auto tune. He was making it change his inflection and his pitch and um like for
Yeah,
instance
Donald does that too.
yeah, like See You in My Nightmares, like that's such a
Oh my
great
God.
song. Like
Love
that's one of
Lockdown
my
too.
favorite.
I know it was
Yeah,
mainstream, but that one too.
right. Like, and to me, like that's a really good album, and I don't think people understood what he was trying to do with that and shit like that. Like him just experimenting and creating new things. I will say one thing on his Twitter rant I do like that he said, and that's been like the culmination of his career. How he says he basically remixes things, like he takes an already popular idea, he puts his
Hmm.
twist on it. That's what I think he did with 808s, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what he's done for the pretty much the entirety of his career. But it got to a point where he like I say he would try to push the envelope instead of like naturally pushing the envelope.
It's like, hey, okay. By the way, you should be watching Legion, and
Yes,
I'm gonna
please watch
reference
Legion.
it. They're doing this thing where they're like explaining to you how people pretty much how you lose your mind is it's awesome. It's really really cool, and it's like showing you from step one through psychosis. All right. So the point is, I'm referencing it because there was this point where they were saying this nurse was giving this man pretty much a placebo. There's another name for it. Unfortunately, I can't remember. I'm so sorry. But before she gave him the dose, she says this will make you vomit, and then she gives him the stuff. And it's pretty much just saying because she's told you this, your mind just makes you think that whatever is in there is going to make you vomit, whether it's supposed to or not. I feel like that's what Kanye's done to us. This will be fire. This will be fire. This will be fire. It's just not working.
Nope.
It's almost like when Yeezy said, not I said Weezy, not Yeezy. But anyway, when Lil Wayne said, "I'm the best rapper alive,"
Since
people
the
was like,
best rapper retired.
you
And
know what?
everybody was like, okay.
I think he is the best rapper alive. Okay,
All right, I'm with it.
like that's all it took. That's all it took because
He
nobody
really
was
did
saying that
say it.
before. Nobody was
But
saying that
but but
before he
that's
said
when
it.
he was doing. Was that when he was doing Fireman and
Like the first time he
before, right
said that
before Carter
was
3?
Carter one.
Yeah, that was Carter one.
Yeah. Okay. And
And then he put out Carter two.
he
He
was
put out Carter
doing
two to
well.
follow it up. He put out
Yep.
Carter two and he followed it up.
Mhm.
And then he
Mhm.
put out the dedication mixtape. So all of that had merit. And then Carter 3 came and he was like, yeah, I'm Randy Moss, like AJ said.
Randy Moss in
So,
the Tennessee Titans jersey.
oh boy. Oh God. Oh,
Oh, oh
oh,
God.
jeez, I'm hurting. Okay, let's move on to Jermaine. Let's move on to Jermaine. So J. Cole dropped his album last week, KOD. We've all had a chance to kind of listen to it, take it in for a little bit. We're not really big on hot takes for album reviews, so we just kind of want to give our thoughts. Now, the biggest thing to me is because I'm absolutely shocked that there's not at all absolutely shocked there's a mixed reaction on 1985. But let's get to that at the end. Let's talk about the album. Ron, how did you feel about the project when you first heard it versus now?
Okay, when I first heard it, I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I got to ATM. I was like, okay, this is really good. And then I got to Kevin's Heart, I think. I was like, okay, this is really, really good. And then I got to 1985. And although it's really preachy, um, I feel like some of that needs to be said. So with every listen, I like the project even more. It's very, there's not a lot of variety here. I'll say that. And it's very dark. It's very
Yeah.
bleak. It's the tempo doesn't change. But I didn't think Cole could put off a concept album, so I am pleased with that. And I'm really liking this album. I didn't think I would because after For Your Eyes Only, I was kind of out on Cole, but I really like this album.
Yeah. D, you go ahead. Sorry.
I haven't listened to it.
Okay. We'll just let you throw in your opinion after I do
I
mine.
have questions. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, I was hesitant because of For Your Eyes Only. Like I remember I think I think I was actually folding clothes when I listened to For Your Eyes Only.
Oh,
And
really?
that's when I just got pissed off. Like like I think by the time I got to the song, I was like, you know what, I'm done with this bullshit. Um but
Oh man, that album was so bad.
it was
Sorry, I just had
so
to say
bad.
that.
So when I put on KOD, I kind of did it with hesitation because y'all know I drive a lot for work. I put it on the other day while I was heading down to Albertville, and I was like, all right, let me take a listen to it.
There's a joke
And
about you falling asleep behind the wheel, but go ahead.
yeah, but go ahead. Yeah. So the first couple of songs, I was like, okay, I'm with it, I'm fine. But then I was like, Ron, I hit ATM, and I was like, oh, okay. Then I hit Kevin's Heart, and Kevin's Heart was initially my favorite song on the album the first time I listened to it. Um, Once an Addict was really good. Uh, Everybody Loves Friends, but Friends was just kind of on me. But Window Pane in 1985, I think were probably like the two best back to back tracks on the album. I didn't think 1985 was preachy. I really didn't. I thought that, um, and I
It
guess
sounds it sounds preachy because we're in this space where, and I'm seeing it from a lot of people who are of our same, like, I guess, circles of society, like people who are college educated, people who are, of a certain, income. Like, they don't want to listen to music based in reality. They'd rather listen to turn up music, and they don't want to feel bad for listening to that turn up music, no matter how detrimental it may or may not be. So that's why I think it sounds preachy. And I will say there are certain parts that sounds preachy, but Cole goes through the steps to say you could blame, the government, you could blame, our community, you could blame this, you could blame that, but it's still not cool at the end of the day, and it's
okay.
not honestly.
So here's my thing. Here's my thing. And this is why I say it wasn't that preachy to me because he acknowledged every single step of that in the sense of, okay, look, you're hot right now because of a wave, but if you don't evolve your game, if you don't change your game, it's going to pass you by. So work on your style so that you hang around when this wave is over. Right now, the wave is Xanax and Molly and all that kind of stuff. But I guess my thing is, okay, look at somebody like Future. When Future came out, we thought Future was going to be a guy who just kind of popped up for this auto tune wave, and then that was going to be it. And then he evolved, and he changed his game a little bit, and he got a little bit better at what he did, but he still was Future. You know what I'm saying? Like he still was who he was, and it wasn't him evolving and becoming this lyrical rapper. He just changed his style up. He made himself a little bit more adaptable and versatile. And that's what I felt like Cole was saying. Like, hey, look, Lil what the fuck ever. Um, right now the wave is Xanax and trap beats and all that kind of stuff, and that's cool. But make your own style, evolve yourself so that you stand out once we move on to the next wave. Because look at the D4Ls and the Soldier Boys and the Chingies of the world. They never evolved their game, and time passed them by. And that's what I felt like that song was saying.
They also
Yeah,
missed the stand culture, but whatever.
yeah,
They
but
did miss the
niggas don't
stand.
listen though. Niggas don't listen though. Like niggas like, oh, Cole's being all preachy and all like no, like I think and my post should be up by now, and that's a
So
little
it's been
bit
a
of what
week.
I yeah, that's a little bit of what I touched on. Basically, I think in every phase of rap there has been a top two that have been pitted against each other, and they're polar
Okay.
opposites. I think in
Mm.
this current generation, without a doubt, of course, we have Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I
Mm-hmm.
think for the first time ever, we've had a rapper who is the midpoint of those polar opposites, and this time it is J. Cole. And I think
Mm.
to not get pulled in either direction in the next phase that comes after Kendrick Lamar or Drake, you need a J. Cole. Because J. Cole he speaks to the people who want to turn up, but maybe not, listen to Drake all the time, and he speaks to the people who want to listen to conscious rap, but maybe can't, digest Kendrick Lamar. No homo, can't
Oh,
digest Kendrick
Oh
here
Lamar.
we
God.
go.
But
For
no,
those
seriously,
who are
like,
not evolved enough for Kendrick Lamar.
We're
but
gonna
no,
get
but no, seriously, I think J Cole is needed, and I'm glad he said what he said on this album, and he broke it down the way he did, and I appreciate him for it. Like
Well, see,
it
because
that
you said preachy, and that made me automatically think about that Jay-Z song. So it's not like that.
which Jay-Z
no,
song.
no, I will say this. Okay, there
The
has
one where
been
he told y'all niggas to stop with the money
Oh,
phones and
you
get
know
some
what's
credit.
better?
yeah, there
Credit.
has been a freestyle by this rapper, this incredibly corny rapper named Jordan Lucas, and he made a freestyle over Gucci Gang, and he was rapping about Xanax bars and stuff, and it was very corny. It's not that.
Oh, that's the mm-hmm.
The dude
Mm-hmm.
rapping to like the KKK member, but anyway, it's
Mm-hmm.
not
To
that. It's not
what?
that corny. Oh yeah, he had a song about
Rapping from the
damn,
perspective of I can't remember what it was. Like it kind of went
rapping from the
semi-viral
perspective
because
of
of
like
how
a Trump
corny it was.
supporter or whatever.
Oh, that was like 6 minutes. That's why I didn't listen to it.
Yeah, yeah. Either way, he's corny, but it's not
I
that.
love D.
This is a white
Because
dude, right?
No, he's
Yeah.
no,
It
black.
was long. It
no,
was.
he's black.
He's black.
Is he black?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Maybe my mind made him white. I just
because the
remember the
video
song was
starts
6.
off with the white guy, and
Okay,
the white
see, I
guy
didn't
is
even make it
rapping.
past
Yeah,
the white guy.
yeah.
That's
You
why
didn't
I thought
need
it
to.
was.
You didn't need to. You were good. It's
It
fine.
was like seriously, wasn't it like 6 minutes?
Yeah, it was. It
Yeah, I
wasn't
want to
worth it.
listen to a
I
six
don't think
minute
I
song
made it
about
through
a
either way. I think
KKK.
once he was like, I just need to hear your perspective. I was like, no, you
nah,
don't. Click.
nope,
So he's
nope.
black.
Yep.
Oh,
He is
Mm-hmm.
black. Yes,
see why I need y'all? I've been thinking this man was white this whole time.
you
Would it
would
really
think
have
so.
mattered?
Listen to the fucking song, but
Is that
yeah,
accidental
he's
racist?
black.
Oh God! Why did
Basically,
you remind me?
no,
Seriously,
that
that
never
song pops
happened.
up in my head like every couple of months, and I just get depressed.
That
Like
never
the
You
fact
happened.
that that
loved
happened,
it.
the fact that that
You
happened,
loved
like not
it.
the song itself, but the idea that LL Cool J did a country song with a white guy about
Listen,
accidentally being
James Todd
racist.
Smith said y'all gonna get these bars and you're gonna
No,
love
listen.
it.
If you
Side note,
don't,
side note, why do
if you
white
don't
people
mind,
think
mine do, right?
why do white people think compromise and acceptance means they believe in just what they say? They like it only flows in one direction with them. That's why I hate songs like this. Like, let me hear
Oh
your
my
perspective.
God.
They're not listening to your perspective when you give it. So why are you listening to theirs? But
Yeah,
anyway,
you're
Exactly.
supposed to understand. Yeah, you're just supposed to get where they're coming from and agree to disagree.
I get where
no,
they're coming from is that you hate me because I'm black. So
no, fuck all
whatever.
that. But anyway, to switch this back to Cole and why I like this so much, and while I'm glad he made this album, because I'm gonna give you a short biography on his life. Basically, J. Cole is the product of an interracial marriage. His dad was stationed in Germany. They moved to Fayetteville, North Carolina, which has an Air Force base, I think, on Fort Bragg, is it? But anyway, his mom ended up addicted to drugs after his dad dished out on them. So his mom was a drug addict. So that's why he made his album. And
Didn't know that.
and
Mhm.
yeah, and I
Because the
don't
album
think a
does
lot of
touch
people.
on it.
Yeah, yeah. There are certain parts of the album that touches on it, and that's why I'm really glad he exposed a bit of himself with his album because he usually raps about just being the
Student
rap's
loans.
common man, like student loans and stuff. That's a running
Hmm.
joke. So I'm really glad that he decided to really touch on this album and make it at this time because I really think this album's going to have an impact. Like I know people like to make the sleeping jokes with J. Cole or like how he's boring or whatever, but this album is going to be here to stay for this year at least. So just get
This
used to
this
it.
album to me was one of the. It might have been the best one of his last three. No, it is the best one of his last
It
three.
is. It is.
Yeah,
I can say that. I can say that without pause at all. Like it is
because yeah,
that
Born
one.
Center was before Your Eyes Only,
Yeah,
right?
and Born
Okay,
Center was
yes,
his
yeah.
best album to me before this. So yeah.
Last one I remember is Sideline Story.
Wow. I
Okay,
don't
well,
blame you though.
if yeah, I mean, if you take the time to do so, the only two you really need to hear are Born Center and KOD, and really you can
I'm
just do
gonna listen
KOD.
to this one for sure to KOD because I like the. Did y'all see the guy? Well, I'm not sure. I know you didn't probably didn't see it right, but there's a guy that went on Twitter and went on this whole tangent about and explain the cover art and all that stuff
Yeah,
about
that was funny.
Edward and
Mhm.
all of that. I'm just like, okay, that's cool. I'll listen to the album now because you explained the cover art. But I mean, the art was cool by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah, the art
It
was
was
really
the
cool. Yeah.
album runs less than 45 minutes, so I mean, it's a quick listen.
okay.
Yeah, it's
See, I
not
can
a.
do that. See, here's because I have a problem with albums because, like you said, I'm so used to shuffle that
Yep.
it's hard for me to listen to one artist for a long time. For new albums, old albums, I know how it goes, so I'm okay with
Mhm.
it. But new stuff, I'm so used to somebody else that it's hard to stick with it. So a short album is good for me. Short albums and EPs, that's all I need.
Well, I may do a review on this album later on in the year because I'm trying to do my album reviews like months after they happen. Um, so yeah, y'all have anything y'all want to add on? I still think my favorite tweet of the whole thing though was somebody saying it's rough. It's hard to listen to All Falls Down now since Kanye changed his mind about everything.
Man, I saw that today.
So we'll go ahead and get out of here. Just a reminder though, this episode is brought to you by Just Whipped. It's your one-stop shop for everything you need, body butters from head to toe. To learn more, just go to justwhipped.bigcartel.com. That's just whipped, WHIPPED.bigcartel.com. Make sure you check out the rest of the collective, the Barbershop Podcast, the We Bring Love Back podcast. I don't know if they're ever coming out of hiatus since Maj is a dad now. The
He'll
last
come. He's got to get into the groove, and then he'll be fine.
Oh yeah, the last guys in the bleachers, which I've been saying it wrong this whole time. I'm sorry.
It's the
And
last guys. I thought it was the
it's the
last
last
row.
guys. I thought it was the last row. It's the last guys in the bleachers.
My bad.
And this round's on us. I knew I was forgetting somebody. Am I forgetting anybody else? No. Well, you
Yeah,
can go
that's it.
check out
Anthony and
everybody.
AJ.
Yep, Anthony AJ. You can check out everybody out at thekidswearcrowns.com. Check out the collective tab up there. Also read some of our articles because they're very good articles. They're very funny articles.
They're great.
They're very worthwhile.
I mean, they all right.
They're amazing. Yours are alright.
It is all right.
Thank you.
Mine are fantastic.
Thank you.
I
Thank
got a
you.
lot of laughs out of my Taylor Swift post. So yeah, so let's see y'all next week. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the KWC blog. Follow D at McNeedus. Follow me at Eagle Eye 1906. My account might be unlocked by now. I have no idea yet. And yeah, any last words before we get out of here, y'all?
Shania Twain, girl, bye.
Girl, bye. Out of here. We ain't even asked you, girl. Stay up there. How are you a Canadian country singer?
Hold on. What's up with the Shania Twain thing? I saw the picture, but
She
what's up?
basically said that if she was in America, she would have voted for Donald Trump
If
because
she could vote, yeah. If she
Oh,
could
get
vote,
the
she
because
would
she
have
fuck out
voted
of
says
for
it.
him.
here.
She says it. He says it how it is, which
Because
is
he's honest. Isn't that what you want in a politician?
that's
He's
white people
not
cover up
honest.
for. That's white people cover up for. He says the things that I think.
Oh, and she already came with the apology.
Oh,
It's not what I
already.
meant. I asked me a question and it was awkward and I answered it and
Nah,
I wish people
The
know that
exact
I
quote
don't promote
was.
hatred and blah
Hold
blah
on.
blah. Girl,
The
Chief.
bye.
exact quote was, "I would have voted for Donald Trump even though he was offensive."
Nah, Chief. After posting up at Coachella with like every rapper in the world, nah, get out of here.
Mm-mm. 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 Coachella's ours now, by the way. We took it over. Um.
No, y'all, yeah, they can have it.
No,
I
no.
don't. Yeah.
I'm going to form a band just to perform at Coachella so I can reap the money, and then we'll call it a day.
I mean, just go yodel at your local Walmart. That's all it
That's
takes.
all it takes. That's all it takes. Hey, next time we just need to talk about black people giving all these white people country because Twitter created Mason Ramsey, Twitter created Bad Barbie, Twitter created all these other really whack artists. Which I'm not gonna hate too much on Mason Ramsey because the kid is 9 and his mom just took advantage of everything. But
I'm gonna hate on him. I don't like the little nigga. Like I'm gonna keep it. No, it's something about him that's very off-putting. I don't know why. I don't like him.
You said that with your chest.
He did. He just stuck it out there and was like, you know what? Fuck that 9-year-old.
Yeah,
really did.
fuck him.
All right.
Oh yeah.
I'm not here to believe in your dreams. Like no.
What would
There you
happen?
have it, people.
Oh yeah. And next time a trend happens, please don't go recreate it. Like everybody who did the Walmart thing was like
goodness.
none of them were funny. None of them.
Please get out
Even
of these
yours.
folks' Walmarts.
Please. None of them were funny. We're out.
The best part of that was seriously that remix.
Yeah.
One
Oh
you
yeah,
used for the
that was
podcast.
good.
That was fine.
good.
DJ Sway be doing the damn thing, dog. DJ Sway does the damn thing. He does.
He did that.
He did the who was it? Was it Shirley? No, was it
Yeah, it was the Shirley
Shirley
greens,
Caesar
Caesar.
beans,
Yeah.
potato? But that was him
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, he's on it.
DJ Sway be putting in work, dog.
So he's the best part.
He's the best part. But then everybody else, the Jay Versace's and all these other Twitter people, he's not funny either.
No.
So that's a
No,
whole
he's
nother
not.
discussion.
He's not. He's not.
Whole nother discussion. About why black women aren't funny, but black men playing black women. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and get out of here before I really get on another tangent. We'll see y'all next week.
Next week.